Actually, you want to watch a movie?
Always.
All right, I'm thinking we watch Paul Walker and his best car movie to date.
Oh, those really aren't what we usually do, those types of things, but I'm down for Fast and Furious, I guess.
Not Fast and Furiously. Joyride!
Oh.
All right, guys, here we're going to talk about the movie Joyride.
Louis.
2001's Joyride. Lee, are you familiar?
I'm familiar with a lot of other movies that have the same plot as
Joyride
this movie.
2, Joyride 3?
No, like The Hitcher and Monster Man and a bunch of other road trip car movies. You know, even Wrong Turn. There's a lot of movies where you're out driving between two places where there's not a lot of water in between and you have to deal with some shit that comes up. I was totally aware of this movie, but I remembered it as like a Steve Zahn, Lily Sobieski vehicle, and I completely forgot Paul Walker was even in it.
Oh yes, Paul Walker.
That was a huge shock
This
to
one
me.
is I think, a mark above a lot of the ones that you've explained are like this one, because this one is written by like J.J. Abrams. It's like a real fucking movie.
And it's different, because this is not a horror per se. This is more of definitely like a thriller.
Yeah.
Right, and we'll get into that, I'm sure, in like the details.
We'll cover that in the
section,
spoilers.
right? But yes.
But as you said, like, we got some great star power in this movie. Yeah. We got some great writers. The production is there. This is something I would definitely recommend if you've not seen it before. It's something that I think holds up from a 2001 standpoint, where a lot of movies kind of feel very dated, and this one like almost doesn't, because we almost outflank some of the issues you have with the earlier movies that don't hold up. 'Cause you're like, why didn't you use your cell phone? Like, type of things. Where like I don't really have that kind of issue in this one, because I'm like, well, it's a CB radio movie, so that's
it's
weird. Kind of a non-issue.
The movie's weird. I would say that, and like the structure is weird, and I usually like that. I had a weird feeling about it this time, but overall, I basically agree. Like, it's different enough from everything else. I don't think by the end of it, I like super enjoyed it or whatever.
Really?
Like, I had a vague memory of this movie and confusing it with other movies and not being sure what happened anymore. And then, like, upon revisiting it, I was kind of like, certain parts I like a lot, but I think there's a lot more potential there that was kind of squandered or whatever, and it kind of bothered me with some of the way the movie, we'll get into it, but like, yeah, I would say recommended, sure, but not enthusiastically, not like, oh, this is a rare gem you guys missed out on or something like that.
Well, I don't think it's a rare gem, because I think it's very talked about. I think people know this movie.
Okay.
But like, you know, if you're younger, you may not have heard this one. I think this one cinematically is a notch above a lot of things, where like the framing of shots is really nice. Things that like are done in a way where I'm like, oh, I think this is gonna happen, then it doesn't happen. I'm like, oh, all right, this guy like knew what he was doing to like not fuck with me.
And like the strangeness is always a big selling point to me. So that stuff kept me very like engaged, and I was very interested in it, right? And yeah, there's certain stuff that happens that I'm like, okay.
Like, does it have plot holes in your average horror movie? Like, why would that happen? Things. Of course, all movies have those.
I figured you're gonna be very tough on it for a lot
I
of
have a good amount of like, you know, rippings to do here.
There's a lot of convenience.
Our villain is not a
happens, right?
superhero, yet he seems to have some powers.
Right.
But we'll go into that in the spoilers. If you've seen this or don't care, falls over spoilers. If not, pull out now.
If you need a place to rent content, you better listen. We're Cannibal Video and we eat the competition.
All right, guys, so here we are for the spoilers of Joyride. So I really enjoy Joyride.
I think love Joyride.
You know, we watch a lot of crap here and there, and I thought this one, you know, had that feel of a real movie.
It's nice. It's definitely a real movie.
Yeah.
That much we should be clear about. The way that it looks, the way that things are, or whatever.
I'm a big fan of Paul Walker.
Okay.
You know, and I was Steve Zahn. Zahn. I like him a lot too.
More of a Steve Zahn guy myself.
This is the part where you kiss the girl.
He's in some good things.
I thought so. I like vaguely recall him as being like just like an empty comedy guy.
What the? Look at that thing's teeth.
I thought this one was a really good use of him, and I liked him a lot in this. I usually like Lily Sobieski, and I didn't like her that much in this.
I want to tell you how much I appreciate you.
And I thought Paul Walker was horrible.
I'm just trying to figure out how I'm going to drive away from this place after what we've done.
Really? What do you usually like her? Like, what do you like her in?
I don't know.
Because she's not one of those ones where I'm like, oh, what are you in Glass House or something? I'm like, I know your face, but again, you're one of those ones where I wouldn't call you out as like Like, oh,
Some of these-
oh, that girl. Oh, yes, I need more with her.
So like I was a kid, so it's like, you know, some of these people, they just start putting them in movies,
Yeah.
and I'm like, oh, you're like a hotter Helen Hunt. That's amazing, because like how old am I, right? Oh my God, we're going back so far. Yeah, that's what I remember. So
Okay.
yeah, there were like certain movies, Glass House. She's in that 88 Minutes thing with Al Pacino. It's very weird.
You gonna take the fall for this guy?
If that's what he wants, so be it.
Lots
It's a
of people
weird
are in
movie in
that.
general.
Very, very strange that I still remember that movie for some reason. I forget what else at the time, but she was like a thing at the time. So like that's why I'm saying I forgot Paul Walker was in this.
Paul Walker,
I, didn't know who he
I like
was.
him a lot. In,
Yeah.
Like in most of the things he does, he has like a good personality. I think he brings to things.
So he seems so goofy in this that I like did not like it.
Just stay cool. All right, just okay, just stay cool. Will you stop telling me to be cool? You're making me like crazy.
Well, I think in the first part they're just goofy kids, and then it sobers them up pretty quick.
In my head, I was like, was he high while he was filming this? He's like laughing with his teeth the whole time. I was
That's
like,
how he
ugh.
laughs. He's a big toothy guy.
I don't like him.
Oh.
But that's just a personal
Hot
thing.
take.
I don't know. I don't think he's very good. Is that a hot take?
Yes, I would say that's probably.
I just keep ratcheting up.
That's probably a rarity opinion, I think, of Paul Walker. I think, you know, again, I can only speak for like the limited Paul Walker interaction conversations I've had, but no, like, you're entitled to that opinion. I don't
there's
think
been,
he's
like,
this like Oscar-winning actor for this performance, but I think he was on
exactly.
par with what the material was.
Yeah, I think that the material in like Fast and Furious, when he's like, no one likes the tuna fish or whatever, those interactions, I thought he was great there because that's what he would bring to it, like a Keanu Reeves, where it's like you're not a good actor, but you're an actor that can be used in certain places, right? Like a certain way.
Isn't it like Tammy the T-Rex is more your jam?
That's I was actually gonna say like, oh, this is after his brain got put back into a very lifelike Paul Walker android, and he met his car before they went off and started being fast and furious with it, right? Does that timeline
into
work?
a car.
Yeah. If I put the brain into a car, we could do that.
Yeah, no, that would be a way to do this.
It's just Vin Diesel, and it's like Kit, but it's a fucking
Yes.
Paul Walker. Oh my God! Cut this out. They can't know about this.
I don't have a crazy amount of like talking points for this movie, because,
Yeah.
but there's a couple of things that I liked. There's a part like where like it's raining. They're pulling up to that hotel where they ultimately set Rusty Nail up to go out, like, you know, to kill that guy in the most graphic way. They rip his fucking jaw off his face.
I'm thinking that taking a little look-see might refreshify your memory.
Taking a look, see at what?
I don't think I remembered that happened.
No, absolutely
Yeah,
not.
especially not the visual show of
You
it.
see the jawless, which I assumed, you know, doctors would just put you to sleep and kill you if that ever happened to you. I can't believe they're
I
trying to
think
save his
chimps have
life.
attacked people and done things.
I
similar
know,
to that,
but I'm
yeah.
like, oh, just have him not wake up. That's horrible.
But like, just think what the man must be, because he just put that guy, because the gentleman he attacked was rather large.
Long talk with your manager. Your brown ass is going.
We see him next to, like, and Steve's kind of a shorter guy, so it's hard to give him a direct thing. Because when you see him next to Paul Walker, you're like, oh, Paul Walker, is he really tall? And that guy's like way tall. You're like, okay, hang on.
No, the initial dead guy is a giant racist mountain of a man.
Yes.
He comes from like, you know, like the 50s
Plantation
or like
money.
the 60s. Yeah, he's like old school. Yes. So yes, and that's why there's this mix-up of like, wait, the big guy is the dead guy? What are you talking about?
So, you're saying that the huge guy is the victim?
Yeah.
Where the cop's all confusing and stuff, and then the cop takes him to the hospital to fucking see his disgusting.
Which I'm like, nothing
mutilated
about this
thing.
case, any of it makes sense.
No.
Because I also, so he's getting yelled at by the sheriff. The sheriff who is Bobby from the Supernatural series.
Why? Because you sorry-ass punks thought you'd have some fun. Fuck!
I don't know Supernatural.
I like him. There's a couple of little parted people in this.
Is that the guy who says, and you, when did you get out of prison? Yesterday?
Yes.
That guy?
That
Oh,
is him.
God. That's one of my favorite scenes in the whole movie. I love how he's just chewing them out.
The shit I got to grapple with now because of what you assholes did? You got out of jail when? Yesterday?
Like, look at all this paperwork. What's wrong with you people? Oh, you know his CV handle. Great. And he's just like yelling at
but he's like, oh, I could put you in jail. And I'm like, I don't know that they actually broke any laws. I don't think they broke a single law. I think they're being dicks. I think they might get an ass whooping.
Let me ask you, who's going to know? You can just put him in jail.
Well, yes.
That's what the road trip movie really adds, where like the cops could be in on it, or you could be stuck and just screaming and no one's there to help.
Sure.
Right? It's those weird, the deserts in the middle of like America keep giving rise to all these movies, right?
Yeah.
That part I'm into, definitely.
Before I get too far from it, so what I went on a great tangent on was they pull up in the rain and Steve runs out of the car and he runs like directly into the back of a car. and it's the first time I saw it, I remember seeing that, and it looks like he's walking weird, like slightly before he hits, and then a little weird after he hits. And I'm thinking he's going to go in there because he's just like, let me see if I can make a deal. I thought he was going to walk in acting like he was handicapped because he parked in the handicap spot.
Oh, no.
Dude, I'm gonna gimp it. I'm not just gonna run in there. Just sit here. I'll work us a deal, okay?
And try to get a cheaper room or something.
I didn't pick up on any of this.
But he did. Either he was thrown off by big racist guy and didn't even try that.
Where's your boss? I want the real manager. The white one. The one whose first language is fucking English.
Or he literally accidentally slipped in the rain and hit into a car, hurt his hip, and it made him limp into there. Either way, though, that was something that like my eyes locked onto, and I was like, questions.
What's your name, sweet thing?
I think I vaguely recall him struggling through the rain, but nothing about any of this. This is great.
It'd be funny if I made the whole thing up, but I'm pretty sure it'll happen.
No. But just like I love the backstory there. If he's about to walk in, like, hi, handicapped or something, and then the guy's like, let me talk to your white boss, and he's just like,
it's
whoa.
not above what you'd believe
amigo.
from his character, because like
great.
once they do pick up the girl, and they're getting hassled by a couple of rednecks.
Bitch, shut up! Are you mouthing off again? Ha ha! Bam!
You can't turn your back for 1 minute,
He's like, bitch, are you mouthing off to guys again? You can't handle bitches these days. Come on with me. And like gets her out of there. And I was like, oh, okay. So like he's a scam artist. He's a man who literally, we meet him coming from jail because he's been arrested for the second time at least.
You will not be seeing me again. 2 strikes are enough for Fuller Thomas.
And he's running like a confidence game on the guy who's escorting him out to get his stuff. Where he's like, I know, you guys are great. I love cops.
I watch American Justice with your host, Bill Curtis. But I'm different.
Second strike's enough for me. But so you mentioned second strike, and maybe strikes are different than just going to jail because they seem to allude that he goes to jail a lot.
Your brother just called. He was arrested again, drunk and disorderly.
He gets in trouble a lot, right?
Yeah. So I'm like, okay, I don't know exactly what the strikes are convictions. I imagine you can go to jail and not be convicted and type of things, or this, that, and the other thing, maybe misdemeanors. I'm not sure what his thing is. But he gets pulled out this time, and they're from New Jersey, which I'm like, okay, cool, we're from Jersey.
When he drops the jersey, I'm like, whoa, they're not in New Jersey.
Where are you boys from?
Well, originally in New Jersey.
Uh-huh. What are you doing here?
We're driving cross country. My brother.
That's far away.
Yes.
It's a long road trip.
So they're driving across the country.
Nebraska!
States?
What's weird to me, and this is probably the biggest plot hole, is the ability that our Rusty Nail can like teleport. He can just do everything, he can be everything, he knows everything all at once. So he somehow followed them into the college town.
No, I thought you said there was no girl.
What?
You said there was no girl.
Which like would be very difficult for an 18-wheeler to do, especially unnoticed.
Sure.
And then somehow, while keeping on their trail, not knowing where they were going off the top, like they never said like, "Oh, Rusty Nail, we're going to Jersey," because they weren't even going directly to Jersey. They went to pick her up and then swing back. But her roommate is from Texas.
Definitely going with us, right?
Oh, I kind of have to go back to San Antonio.
Isn't San Antonio on the way to New Jersey?
It was nice to meet you.
So her roommate was going to be driving down while they're going across. Somehow Rusty Nail caught her, threw her into his car, and chased them again and caught them, not even knowing where they were going. That's kind of crazy. And the multiple times he was able to be within CB range. I'm like, how is he doing this?
No, I agree, and that's where I thought you would have a field day and you would have like not liked this movie because you're like, why did this happen? How did this happen?
It doesn't make sense, and there's a lot of things that got deleted from this movie. So like, maybe there was some more stuff in there like along the way, like in the first encounter he noticed the CB radio antenna and put a tracker on them. I don't know.
So like, that's what I was gonna suggest, and I'm like, don't even bother. That's too ridiculous. But like, yes,
something.
If he could have been listening in to them somehow, even just they're newbies with the radio and like left it hot or something, and then he overheard something, I would have been like, oh wow.
Well, this movie had like 4 alternate endings, and like one of them like starts from like the middle of the movie almost. There's a part, like a little bit makes it into the final cut because like just the footage had the use. Like when they're in like the corn area, which also doesn't make sense like timeline wise because it's supposed to be summer and that's not corn season. But regardless.
No one knows about corn.
Obviously not the writers. But there's a part where he would have hijacked a police car and like stole a gun and a uniform, and they pull over Rusty Nail and they try to do a thing to get the girl back.
What the fuck?
Step back from the vehicle! Now!
And that ends with them in the corn area, and for a moment you can see Steve is wearing like a cop hat and a jacket like in the background.
Okay.
But like, there's a lot of other stuff
What a
here.
wild time.
So yeah, the movie had, I think, like a 29-minute difference in things.
That is amazing. It kind of feels a little bit like that. Maybe you can fill me in on, then if they develop any of this other stuff. Some of my favorite stuff, because this to me is more of a thriller. It's less of like a horror and an action and whatever else.
Certainly on the horror end of a thriller, but yes, I would say you're firmly in the thriller.
It's got some darkness, right?
Yeah.
But there's a certain cat and mousey angle. So like in the midst of all that, what I like is like how Steve Zahn is like instantly horny for Lily.
What?
And is like causing this weird love triangle business to start.
He's kind of a dick.
Bronze.
Not even close.
That was straight. It wasn't even bent.
Yes, and that's awesome. And then it kind of just gets dropped and doesn't get developed.
There
And I
were
don't like
two
that.
deleted scenes where like she's making out with him and she's making out with Paul in two different scenes that both got removed from the movie.
I want to put both those scenes back in.
Yeah.
Because that is awesome. No, like him looking her up and down when they first meet, and then he instantly becomes horny for her friend Charlotte. So you're like, oh, he's just horny. It's
He's a horny
fine.
dog, yeah.
But then, oh my
He's
god,
in jail. He's got to get his.
Exactly. So I just chalked it up to that, and I figured he'll meet his own girl.
Mm-hmm.
But then, oh man, and like the 1-2, like I'm a licensed bartender.
I'm a licensed bartender. Yeah, I'd show you my license, but my hands are full, so.
He's asleep.
Once she lets him in, that is like explicit permission to get dick down at that point.
Well, and he like a real he's a dick, especially for being this dude's brother. He's like, he's like, you guys are just friends, right? So don't say anything if you want more, and I'll respect that. You're totally passed out. Okay, cool, man.
Tell me right now, and I'm gonna I'll beep, 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 off.
And goes, and it's like he's like dead to the world or whatever. But it's not even like Steve Zahn is like pushy. He just makes his move and she accepts, which is so much darker. And I'm like, oh, this is gonna be amazing.
Well, because they're not dating. She isn't actually cheating on him in any way. They are just friends at this moment. So she's totally within his rights. He is technically within his rights, but he knows that the brother wants more. His brother fucking sold his plane ticket and bought a car just for this. He bought that car for $1,100. That's a beautiful car for $1,100.
Sexy choice.
Yeah?
Yeah. Vintage 1971.
That's ridiculous. South of the country, he also treats it like shit when his brother starts mouthing off and he like swerves off the highway. I'm like, the car could have just broke right there.
You're still playing the neutered boy friend who's like always there for her because you're nice. Whoa, road! What are you doing? Whoa!
Like forever.
I know, I had that same thought, and I feel like whoever was driving barely stopped in time for the fence. It's like right there or something.
Even just driving off the highway, like there's all kinds of scrap metal and bullshit that gets swept off to the side.
No, but like the love triangle and like the darkness of that, how that could have played into like people have to save other people now and like betray other people, and how that could have worked with, because by that point of the movie, our like bad guy has already said, I'm just messing with you, and like left.
Oh, I was just playing with you, man.
Which is super weird. And now we're
in
in
a
this
weird way though, where he like destroyed an 18-wheeler with a dude like in it, and then rammed their car up against a tree, like totally crushing like 3 of the windows, like damaging the fuck out of it. And then he takes it to a shop and they fix it.
They fixed the taillight.
And I'm like, this whole car cost $1,100, yet you replaced 3 windows.
Yeah, you spent $100,000 to fix it up or something.
Like the car barely had any damage once it was done. Like, yes, it had scuffs and scratches because it was fucking hit by a car and pinned against a tree. And you're kind of like, thank God it was an old car or you would be dead right now.
Like, it's like a big steel frame or something, so it can like push it up. Yeah, like after that point, I feel like the movie kind of loses its focus and then figures itself out again, but it's like there's like a gap in the movie where like they introduce some themes that I was super into. I'm like, oh, it's not just a movie about a crazy trucker, it's a movie about like people and stuff. And then they're just like, nah man, it's exactly the movie that it was gonna be in the first 20 minutes, and this part in the middle now just makes me yearn for more.
I just want to enjoy this for a second.
That would have been a very interesting, so like if right from that pinned to a tree part, that plot ends and there's no more Rusty Nail.
Oh
and
my
it's
God!
Just people.
I would have loved that so much.
Like it's
That's
actually
such a crazy
like,
misdirection.
like how a lot, like any of those kind of like traveling across the country movies. Like there's just a thing here, and okay, now we're doing this thing. Oh, now we got into the skate competition. Okay, now we got to do this thing. Like, and that was just one segment of their adventure.
It's like, sorry, there was a bet. I had to get a tattoo. Did you win or lose? I'm not sure. It's just like a road trip movie from that point over. That would be crazy. Now that's like, I didn't think it was gonna be that crazy, but I thought it was gonna like do something more with those things. So I'm still reeling from the disappointment of that, but. The ending that we get is not the worst thing in the world. It's not like it's bad.
No.
Right?
Yeah. I actually would have loved, so like ultimately the haha is that like he pulled the body of the Iceman out of the cab and like framed that guy for.
That's the same guy who was the thumper.
He's just some trucker named Jones. Looks like he drove for some ice company in Wyoming.
Right,
yes.
He was in the ice truck.
So something I would have loved if I could do a redo thing here is instead of him going, all right guys, I'm just fucking with you, and then it's like leaving.
I was just playing with you, man.
I would have loved, because he crushed through the back of that truck, which was like obviously modified to be crushed through because the tires were in a different place and shit. But the cab was intact. He didn't kill the guy from that impact. At least shouldn't have. Maybe he could have had a heart attack because, oh my God, my mustache. Like something could have happened. But I wanted that guy to just like be like ah, motherfucker, and like come down with his tire thumper, pull the guy out of the car, and that starts a fight, and then he gets away. And obviously the killer would kill him because the killer's a monster. But I thought like something like that could have been more interesting. Yes. Like and like you get a fun line from Steve like thank you, you mustached angel. Like
thank you. Oh, keep the mustache and drive away. Yeah. No, exactly, 100%.
Venna, you let her out of your sight. Venna, Lewis. God damn it! You let her out of your sight!
Because it feels really, and like a lot of the movie feels really creepy. Let me introduce something else right now.
Sure.
So in my head, it's the story of our 3 young people being pursued by Mr. Plinkett. he's basically like.
You barely ever see his
Throw
face,
me candy cane,
and the voice and the body are not the same person.
They don't match anyway.
The voice is what's his name?
It's somebody, right?
Bloodbath McGrath from Wild Wild West is who I'm thinking of, but he's more famous for being
Kenneth Branagh.
What's the guy's name? Wild Bill? No, what the fuck puts lotion on its skin? What the fuck is that guy?
Oh, I don't know his name, but that guy.
It rubs the lotion on its skin, or else it gets the hose again.
I can't think of his name.
That's the voice.
Yeah,
that's awesome. So like you see the guy's face, and like not.
And that guy is a character actor that I've seen before in things. He's in like Aaron Brockovich. He's in a couple other things.
Called Boobs.
Like he's usually this little part. But he's a big guy, and they needed a huge guy to play this part.
Like, I feel like we saw enough of his face where if I was RoboCop, I would have a full picture of his face. But as a mere normal, unenhanced human, I'm not quite sure what his face looks like. But I got like a good idea.
That was by design, though.
Exactly.
Like you were never supposed to see him. And I remember the few shots you do see him, I always stared at it because I'm like, I need to know who he is. Who is he? And I think they did a good job of showing me enough, but keeping him in shadow.
Yes.
But you also got a sense of how big he is and stuff like that.
Big. He looks like a weird monster. Has a weird, creepy mustache.
And then,
watch this. It's gonna be hilarious.
Different endings, you saw more of him like. There's some fighting in the back alley in some of the endings.
So like once we get to the ending, I like a lot of the tension, like when the boys outside touch the doorknob, and then Lily Sobieski stares at the doorknob and is like, oh no.
Oh yeah.
Because there's a huge trap. This guy doesn't have any rope. He makes rope out of tape and creates a whole trap out of nothing but tape.
It's not tape. It's like the stuff you would wrap a pallet in. It's like that clear like cellophane but stronger.
Okay. I just thought it was clear packing tape or whatever. But whatever, he's just using that for everything in the whole thing, like he's MacGyver.
It
to
worked,
make this thing.
though.
It worked.
It's the kind of stuff that a truck driver would have, though, from probably wrapping shit going into his truck.
From doing his job. But so she's there with a shotgun right on her face,
Yes.
waiting for the door to open, for the thing to pull, and then the chicken to break the egg, and for the thing to fall down, and the mouse to walk.
Rube Gold, that shotgun right off her face,
and just kills her. Obviously, Paul Walker saves her, but yes, there's also you're not sure what door. They're at the wrong hotel for a minute.
Yeah.
There's a lot of tension going into the thing.
One of the hotels they go to, a guy comes and is like, "What?"
I said, hold on!
I'm sorry.
And he's the security guard from The Office.
How many orange traffic cones do you have?
2.
Oh, God.
Oh, wow, really?
Yeah.
Okay. There were a few people there where I was trying to eagle eye and be like, is that the director? Is that a cameo? Who is this? Who is that? I think some of those
I don't
weird
know what
people
this
might
director
have
looks
been.
like.
Yeah, I think there might be some stuff hidden there is where I would do
It's
it.
possible.
Where a guy's just like, yeah, it's my room. What do you, and they're
There's
gone.
one where like it looks like it's cops having a party or something, and they're like, "What do you want?" And he's like, "Fuck!" And
I just Hey, what's the problem here? Shit! What did we miss?
like they just like close the door, like, "All right, I guess we're fine." But they're either like military or cops. But I think they had a badge.
Cops got a party too, man.
I guess it's weird to have a cop hotel party though.
Yeah, that's why they can respond so quickly.
I guess.
But in the ending there is a scene. Steve Zahn goes around back, and our like truck man, just like a monster, just reaches through and breaks a huge window.
No, he had some
grabs
weapon.
Yeah,
maybe
but
a tire iron or something.
Yes, but it felt.
But yes, he does rip him right through.
There's glass just falling onto his face real quick, and he just grabs Steve Zahn and grabs him. Like he's a monster.
Yeah.
His skin must be made of something.
When he gets falling back out the window, and what is it, like a refrigerator coil? Something goes like through his leg. You're like,
pipe.
oh fuck.
Yeah.
And it's like it's bent enough that he can't pull it back out nicely.
I thought that it wasn't super bent, but then like the guy used his foot maybe to like bend it more.
Maybe.
Because I think when you come back, it's like more bent. Like he hooked it on him. Oh yeah, but that traps him in the alley. There's a whole rigmarole.
And he's hanging by his hood too, so he's like pinned between the ground and the top because one's got his leg and one's got his. He's lucky to not be dead, honestly.
Oh God, yes.
Like I would have just killed him.
And Paul Walker has to do all this stuff to help him get out, prop him up, help him this, do that. It's a whole process, and then he's still hooked. There's an awesome thing here with cops too, where like Paul Walker's like, "Don't shoot me," and the cops are like, "All right, we're not gonna shoot you." And then 5 seconds later, they're like, "Shoot the truck!" And all the cops go, "Oh, the white boy said shoot the truck," and they start shooting the truck.
It's so much more unbelievable, especially in this landscape, because like when they open the door, a shotgun went off.
Yes.
And then they don't shoot this guy. Like, and there's a girl tied up on the floor. Like, who am I to believe? Obviously, you're the murderer, right?
You must be. What is this kinky sex stuff? Please don't use a shotgun, ma'am. What are you doing?
Yeah, and he does have, like a trusting face, I'd say. He looks like the good old boy, which I'd be like, probably a rapist.
It's always the most trusting faces.
Generally.
That get you.
And the most evil faces. Really, only a few faces in the middle that are
it's
safe.
2 peaks at the end. Everyone in the middle is fine. But the best and the worst are both.
Those hips and those valleys. Ooh.
Oh.
So while I enjoy the Rusty Nail voice, I think Paul Walker's lady voice is terrible. It's just like Paul Walker's voice.
Well, Rusty Nail, I hope you're doing better than I am. Man, this drive, it seems like it's taking forever.
I was literally, waiting to ask you, like, how do you think about Paul Walker's, like, the whole plot?
I do know ladies that have, like, voices that are kind of like that, but if you don't see the person's face, that's a guy.
So why don't you pretend that I'm sitting there with you? Just the two of us?
No, I'm not here to, like, stereotype or do whatever like that, but the whole movie basically hinges on his lady voice. And they picked a guy who I think is goofy and also has a horrible lady voice.
Oh. Okay, you take that off.
I do wonder if it sounds better on the other side of a CB coming through a crackly old radio.
And that guy might just be desperate or something.
He's definitely desperate. He needs a psychologist, not a psychiatrist, because he needs drugs.
You sick fuck!
You need to find a highly qualified psychiatrist, not a psychologist. You're gonna need some drugs.
No, like this is probably my biggest complaint that we can arrive to here naturally.
Okay.
In a thriller, what I like is for one of two things to to be happening. It should either be the killer's first murder or their like millionth murder.
Okay.
This to me, I wasn't sure, and it seems like he was too good at it for it to be just like on a whim.
No,
right?
he's definitely an old pro, because even just down to like, I know what route you're going to go on. I'm going to spray paint signs that tell you to check in your trunk, 'cause I've been following you close enough that I could stop, get the CB threw out on the highway, and still follow you still, not knowing where you're going. The man is a monster.
What they do is they cut off all the fingers, all 10 of them.
But there's no like trappings about that.
No.
They just like is this guy a like super highway murderer?
He spends a lot of time in his car alone, hatching and thinking about plans.
Yeah. No, but I mean, like, is he the super murderer and a desperate horn dog? Because I feel like there should have been something.
He probably would have killed the girl afterward.
Yeah, but there should have been something about the killing and something else, some weird. Just give me some hook where I can understand that like, oh yes, a lot of girls disappear from this place or something.
The idea that girl,
right?
that like the roommate that he kidnapped was in his car for so long. Yeah. I'm like, I didn't kill her. He just left her there. I'm like, did he feed her? Like, she just in there losing weight.
That dick.
Oh.
Oh my God, that's Charlotte.
What?
That's Charlotte.
You really?
Yeah.
I don't know if that's true. I don't even know if he's a rapist.
I'll assume he's
out there with my bottle. He actually had the bottle. Why would he have the bottle? It's so weird to me because that strikes me as lonely trucker who finally snapped and is killing people.
Yeah.
But then you need like, it's actually really easy to kill people. Turns out it's fine. No, he didn't kill her. He made her watch Star Wars in the back of the thing.
What? Star Wars?
I need you to see it in order to help me. Just get in the chair that's over by the television set.
Right, like you want that dialogue or like something in there, and not necessarily in accordance with my suggestions, but just something, because I feel very lost where I don't know what this guy's deal is.
There's a bit in the deleted scenes where when they go in naked to the diner and she's left in the car, she's talking to him, and it's something like. I can't remember if she's like trying to convince him to kill himself, like, oh, a lot of serial killers kill themselves, this and that, something or other, whatever.
You know that 73% of the people who commit multiple murders end up committing suicide?
Is that right?
And in that scenario, the ending is the Iceman guy is found like during one of their calls, like a gunshot goes off, and the Iceman is now shot in the head in like a phone booth or whatever.
Okay.
So like.
No, that would have been good too.
There's a little more psychology in that.
Yeah, she's got a psychology line to him, even in the actual cut. Something about like, she's trying to like win him over, right? She says like, they told me what they did to you. I'm very sorry, but I think people sometimes don't think about what their actions do to people. Like trying to like lead them to some like human.
And
conclusion,
she was genuinely compassionate. Right? She's crying like while talking to this guy, and that could be fear, but I believed it was like, oh, they shouldn't have fucked with you.
I think sometimes people don't know what they're doing. They don't think what they say or how they act can really affect anyone.
Because it is a very dick move what they did. So aside from making this guy drive out of his way in the middle of the night to somewhere where he thinks he's going to get lucky, he has to buy champagne.
Tell him that you like pink champagne.
And if there's any way you could bring some pink champagne, it's my favorite.
Go out of his way, go to this place. He's a truck driver. He's on the clock. He has to be somewhere, potentially.
He's a murder professional, though.
Yeah, who's to say? It's weird, though. It's like a truck driver murderer, is one of the worst type of murderers. Like, as in, it would be very difficult to be because a truck. They know where a truck is all the time. Like, they have tattlers on them that like they literally know where you are because time is money and you need to be here to there. So like you wouldn't have a lot of free time. And then let's assume on the other side you're a private contractor and you own your own rig and you're doing private things. A truck is like $400,000. Like, where do you get that from?
He sold all the organs.
He's got a really nice Peterbilt too, and it does switch. The truck does rotate in different scenes and different things. Yeah, and you can see in certain shots like they rotated. I think just the angle on things because the CB radio antenna moves from side to side sometimes.
Okay.
I think they just mirrored the image when they needed to. I don't have a specific example of that because it's not important. You can picture that yourself.
Yes.
But that happens.
What? Keep going!
This is more of a question, but like if someone called 911 and said there's murders at this hotel, and they went in and they saw the desk clerk is dead, you think they would kick in every single door of the hotel?
I mean, probably not, but who are we to question the customs of the local, where are they, Texas now? Albuquerque?
No.
Lake City still?
Somewhere
where are
in the
they,
middle,
Utah?
I think.
Somewhere in there?
Yeah.
Maybe that's what they do.
Wyoming? I want you out of the state of Wyoming by the morning, I think they say.
Were they in Wyoming then? They went north? This whole thing's messed up.
Well, they should have been going further to the east since then. So whatever is probably the next state from Wyoming.
As an American, I don't have a good sense of geography, even of America.
United States, Canada, Mexico, Panama, Haiti, Jamaica, Peru.
So I have no idea.
One might say a worse sense.
Do you think people in other countries know more about our states?
I think they know more about everything.
That was mean.
I know.
Oh, it's because we were schooled in America. We know. Okay, gotcha.
I was more concerned with what was for lunch.
Gym,
or PE, yeah.
Gym, lunch, not going to school. What was I saying? Let's go back to that. What were we saying?
They were kicking in all the doors of this hotel trying to get their shit.
Maybe it was the party cops next door and they were just kicking the doors in for fun. Maybe it was just a coincidence.
We've got a body in here!
Maybe.
Search every room!
So I saw them knocking on one. I'm not sure.
Some people opened
up
and they were like guns drawn, like get out. They have no reason to believe. And how would you even are you searching and fingerprinting every single person?
So of course the answer is because it's like the scene when someone's hiding in a bathroom stall and someone kicks in every stall one at a time and the audience worries they're gonna get to yours and we're just gonna get to Lily's room where she's gonna get blown away and stuff like that, right? But yeah, in the movie I'm not sure why they're doing that.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess you have to find those bodies.
Yeah, they did say bodies, and there would have been had things gone a little better.
Did you think that was because they ran out of time? They show it's like 12:01, but like I'm assuming he would have killed them or her no matter what, right? Because it's 12:01, and that's when he makes the call to the cops and says, "I want to report some dead bodies," and goes through the thing.
Well, I think he knew he'd be able to escape pretty quickly. Yeah. I think he thought they would come in the door immediately when he said, sometimes what you're looking for is right next door."
It's a callback, too. It's a good callback.
Pretending the person that I'm talking to is right next to me. Right next to me.
Yeah, and when he sends, Zahn going around the back, that was an unexpected thing, but, and he didn't kill him right away, which is weird. And he did sacrifice his truck pretty quickly. So it's a lot of strange things where I'm like, you're like a behemoth. You should have been able to just kill these people. You could have just shot her in the head as you left. You didn't have to make him do it himself. It's poetic, I guess.
I was going to say, it seems strangely poetic. He's already humiliated them. And now does he want them to stay alive with the knowledge that they killed this, her due to some circumstances that he, orchestrated?
I guess.
Is that important?
And he also wants to walk away with nothing because he would lose his truck in this scenario. And the truck would be registered to him, I guess, or it seems like maybe he swapped that somehow to register to the ice guy because they're like, oh, he's got to deliver the ice out of blah, blah. And I'm like,
yeah,
what?
I feel like stealing trucks might be the answer to some of our concerns here.
But he also left the girl alive who he kidnapped, who would be like, that wasn't him, that's a dead guy.
Yeah, and she's just in there, right?
Yeah. Yeah, she's in there.
How do you not hate this movie? There's so many loose ends and bad things. Yeah.
But I think a lot of that happened where they rewrote this ending last minute. The best ending I want to say is they're fighting and he wrestles with the guy and knocks over the girl's chair just as the cops open in and the shotgun kills Rusty Nail.
That's so much better.
Yeah.
That's so much better. Oh my God. Yeah, like having Paul Walker save her just in time I thought was so awkward. Because I thought it was taped because I thought she was taped to the ground too.
She was nailed to the ground.
Nailed to the ground?
He nailed the legs.
That's why they call him Rusty Nail.
They also slip up and call him Russell at one point, but they don't ever have an elaborative part where he says, my real name's Russell.
What are you going to say?
Hey, Russell. This is Black Sheep. Go to 23.
Yeah, Russell T. Nails is his full name. Rusty Nails for short.
It would have been nice to have a little bit more I think this movie had a lot of potential to be a little bit better than it was, but I think as it swings now, it's still pretty damn good.
I thought I'd lost you.
Well, I guess fate wouldn't allow that.
There's a part where he's like, I was just playing with you too, man, where he actually sounds like an evil Tommy Chong. And I thought that was kind of funny. I was like, wait a minute, what's happening here?
Well, I was just playing with you, man.
I'm actually Tommy Chong.
It was generally creepy when he says, you should get that fixed. Get what fixed? Your tail light.
You really ought to get that fixed.
Get what fixed?
Your tail light.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, shit.
So that's probably one of my favorite little moments too, because that's the connection where he's like got him and all that stuff. I also realized, I think maybe during that shot where it's like, it's so easy to follow them because they have this giant obnoxious antenna on their tiny little boring car, which is super standoutish, right? So it's probably very easy for him to see them. I don't know how they're not seeing him the whole time, but whatever.
Well, there's a million 18-wheelers, so like they don't know which one he was from the jump.
Yeah.
You see anything? Yeah, cars and trucks. Just drive. Just be cool. Oh my God.
So horror rule number 1, don't be nice.
Never.
Our ice truck delivery guy, oh no, you've left your credit card. Let me go like well above and beyond and chase your car, which could be not going to a dead end. It could be going to like Albuquerque and I would just follow you all the way there, presumably.
You boys all right to get back to the main
Yeah,
road?
we're fine now that we're not murdered, bro.
Yeah, thanks a lot for this, man. That was nice of you.
Y'all have a good night.
Sorry about that.
But he tracks him down, gives him his card, and dies for his efforts.
Like, Lewis! He knows our name. Oh God, we're gonna die.
Lewis!
I like that whole scene actually, because he shows up and I have a MasterCard.
Yeah.
Like, oh.
We got a gun! And I got a MasterCard.
Shit. Even just the whole scary thing, because I don't know what a truck thumper is or whatever. So I assumed that, like, I feel like that's one of the good scenes that was done really well, because it's like you just see the guy's reflection and Paul Walker's like sweating and writing the check and like, hurry, no, do you want this? No, I'm leaving. Oh my God, and then leaves his card, and that's how the whole thing happens.
Yeah.
What, my thumper? No, it's not because of the stash, is it?
Hey, you really scared us, you know that?
Yeah. Wasn't the mustache, was it?
Okay, so I think you like this a lot more than me. I wouldn't say don't watch it. I think you're a stronger recommendation though.
Indeed. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Let us know in the comments below what you thought about it. Don't die in a fire, and we'll see you next time.
If you want to support the show, head over to cannibalvideo.com, pick up some merch.
And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button.
That's all right.
Yeah, that's something.
Whatever.
Fuck these motherfuckers.
Yeah, that's great.
Wait, what?
Cannibal Video has everything you need. A wide array of VHS and DVDs. We ate the competition, now it's only us. Our expert staff opinions you can really trust.